What's up, party people? This is Tarkus Jude Mossberg here from Facebook, Jude's Junk Facebook, comic book shop, YouTube channel, website, Jude's Junk, and moving into Instagram, whatnot, and TikTok. But Rob Liefeld just asked a great question. He said, those of you that have been doing this for 3 decades or more, what are some trends that you see? And one of the trends, I don't think it's different than what we did in the 80s, is that there's a lot of people that are half collectors, half dealers. I mean, that is the hobby. So those people that slam flippers, we've always done that. Now there are some people that just bought, read them, and kept them, and that's a whole plan. But we were gambling with comic books in the 80s, playing cards and flipping quarters against the wall at school and gambling, and trying to, buy low at our dealership and sell high to our friends. But there was no internet, so you could only sell to your friends. And if you had 3 friends that did comic books, then hopefully they buy it. And if they didn't, oh well, you would do trading. But right now there's this big push for the people I follow on YouTube. We're following CGC. We'll never leave them. We know the problems with CGC, but graded books are more liquid. So if we're going to die, we want our family to be able to liquidate comics through an auction house. And that is easiestly done through grading, and it also typically gets the most value out of your books. Now, could you lose money grading a book? Sure. You have to know what you're doing. But so this whole world of people I'm watching, we're really focused on CGC and what's going on with CGC and the new PSA and the features and who can crack and steal and manipulate the system and fair market values and how do people get in there and manipulate those. And we're just fascinated with that because that's a big part of how we collect. We buy, sell, and most of us, our collections are growing bigger, even though some of us, like me, want it to get smaller. That's just not what's happening. So real focus on the graded books. Another big trend is a real focus on 9.9s, 10.0s. There's a lot of people that, I've moved away from that, but there's a lot of people that they want the more rare stuff. They want the Mark Jewelers. They want the newsstands. They want the original art. They want the rarer the better. So if you can get, and they're paying big money. We're talking some of the Spider-Man 1s that just were signed 9.9s that just went up for auctions, went for like $8,000, I think. So big money. A regular gold signed is probably $300-400. So $8,000, you're talking about, a 30x. And so there's people all over the world that want the biggest and best. They want to be able to show off, hey, I got the best. I got the only one. And so that is a trend, is a real big focus on 9s and 10s. I don't think this was even a thing 5 years ago. There was 9 and 10s, but they were so rare. And then PSA started, pumping out 10s left and right. That's why I don't really trust the 9 and 10 market, because CGC is probably going to raise their 9s and 10s, and we've already seen that. So another trend that I've seen is a real big focus on moderns, the blind bags, the gambling, the gambling aspect of blind bags, the gambling aspect of whatnot with modern books. It was kind of like when NFTs were popular and VD had the digital comic books, and you would buy one and you'd hope it was the rare one, and you could turn around and flip it for 10x, 100x the next day. And I did actually flip one of those VV books. I got one of the great ones first day it went for sale, and turned around and bought it for like $5, turned around and sold it for a few thousand within a week, and then it went up to 50,000, but that was back when NFTs and stuff was hot. So the whole gambling aspect is what I see. I don't like that part either. I don't play in that game. I'm still, get the major keys. I watch all these YouTube videos of Comic Tom and those, and why is this book going up? Because it's a blue chip key. That's why. Who cares if there's a Black Panther is going to be in the Avengers movie. Will that move the needle? Maybe for a small number of buyers. It will motivate them to buy more. But first appearance of Black Panther, first appearance of Silver Surfer, first appearance of Galactus, those are always going to be keys. They have always been keys. They're just going to be older and older and older and more rare as time keeps going on, and more buyers will want those as the stories keep telling them. Those are good stories and good characters, and so those stories are retold in comics. They're now told in cartoons. They're told in movies, and so the more those stories are told, the more those are going to go up. And we just overcorrected in a market that just went down, so now it's overcorrecting. So all the big blue chip keys are starting to go back up. So when I see things like Fantastic 452 going up, I don't think it's because there might be a new Black Panther, or because he's going to be in Avengers Doom, because everybody's going to be in Avengers Doom. So so the trend is the how did I get off on Black Panther? I don't even remember, but I was talking about the moderns. There's a real focus on these moderns, these absolute Batmans. There's been such a desire for good stories because everything was just hot covers. Get the Kirkham book. Who cares what the story is? But Absolute Batman was a good story from what I hear. I don't read them, but a lot of people liked it because of that. And then it started catching fire, and now it's starting to go down. But same characters, but reimagined. But there's a lot of people interested in the new books, and which is interesting because in the 80s, as a kid, 60, 75-cent books, you have a $5 allowance, maybe $20 allowance. You could get a handful of comic books each week. They're $5 each. I can't afford 5 new comic books. That's $25. I mean, they're just going to sit somewhere unless I get them graded, and then I got graded moderns that aren't going to sell anywhere. So that's another trend is a lot of stores. Shout out to Lost Boy Comics. I always go to them. I just got it was either a Daredevil, maybe Daredevil 3, the new series, but it had John Bernthal on the cover and of him being Punisher, and I just liked the cover, of him on it. A lot of the actors that end up getting on the comic books, you get them to sign it, then they're worth a lot. So I bought a brand new book from him. It just came out. He gets them graded. So a lot of stores are doing that. They're grading moderns. And you'd wonder why. Well, I don't know why. The heart likes what the heart likes. It's good, clean art. You get a modern for $5. You grade it right away, or you buy it already pre-graded so you don't have to deal with shipping and all that. $50 that's basically the cost of the plastic. So I'll do that every now and then, get a brand new modern graded. But there's a lot of people that buy just a lot of moderns. And I just bought 4 Spawns from my LCS because I have a pull order, and it only comes out once a month, I believe. And they were $2.99, but now they're up to $3.99. So $16 for 4 thin little Spawn books. It's cheaper than the Marvel stuff. They're $5 and $6 each, if not more. So I've really gotten turned off to the modern stuff. There's so many of them. I don't see it holding value unless time goes by and we find out that something's a really big key. That Spider-Boy first appearance, that tanked. I don't think Absolute Batman's going to stay up there. The books are still going to CGC. The prices are going down. The supply is growing. And that fad is leaving. There's new characters in, 19 and 20 and 21. But the fad is leaving. So there's still a lot of people that are focused on these, the moderns. And I don't know how they're paying $6 each. But they like them. They can't be teenagers. They can't be 12-year-old kids like I was in the 80s. So it's a different type of collector getting moderns than it was 30 years ago, 40 years ago. 30 years ago was 1996. And any of you guys that lived through that knew that that just burned a lot of us out of it. I quit in 92 because one, I had gotten married, but 2, I was starting to get in my early 20s and wanted other interests, and everything I was buying to quote make money was just not going anywhere. And there was millions of copies made and blah blah blah. You know, everyone thought they were going to get rich on an X-Men 1 and a Spider-Man 1, and we as kids had no idea that the print runs were going to be so big that they will never go up in that value, except for the rare stuff. And 9/8 I would say is rare. Anyways, those are 3 trends I think that are really popular for what's going on right now. Focus on the moderns. A lot of collectors being half dealers, half collectors to make money to fund their hobby and to do CGC. And then what was the second one? My son just came in, so I got distracted. Anyways, guys, happy hunting, and I'll talk to you soon.